Join Vince and I, and even Dooms Vince, every Wednesday night at 7 Central Time on the Supervillain Network for a brand new episode of the Geekvolution Radio Hour. A full hour of intellectually stimulating discussion, or the next best thing. So I have made no secret that I am not anything like as excited about Star Trek Beyond as I would like to be, that I'm not...
But did you enjoy Star Trek Bed and Bath?
Star Trek Bed, Bath, and Batman Beyond.
I'll watch it.
I was, yeah, sure. Well, a Star Trek Batman crossover seems like a no-brainer in the first place.
Or
No, not a no-brainer, but a thing that would be kind of fun is, I mean, well, look, we're doing it with Ninja Turtles. Why not? It's also a thing that's like, I should not have said no-brainer. That's stupid. Anyway,
you need a brainer in there somewhere.
Why is it a no-brainer? Because they both use advanced technology.
That's why. Yeah.
Because Batman is a pilot.
But there you go.
But anyway, so Star Trek Beyond. I have not had faith in this project. I didn't like that the Fast and the Furious guy, Lynn, was hired to direct this thing. I haven't liked Paramount's overall attitude about the thing, and now we have a trailer. And I feel about the same way as I did before. I'm not saying that it can't be entertaining and fun, but, man, it feels like the most generic, lackluster, every sci-fi action movie you've ever seen.
Yeah, your ship gets wrecked, you land on that planet, and then, you're walking around with your robot buddy, and there's like a little girl, and the guy from Friends.
Your robot buddy?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
We're talking about the Lost in Space trailer, right?
Oh, no. We're talking about Star Trek.
Crap.
Yeah, that's really funny that you said that. Yeah. But no, you're right, even though you're not being remotely serious, that it's, that they're kind of maybe playing it, and I mean, like, we've had one trailer, so this is maybe not fair to say, but I already kind of expected this, so we'll see if this is what's going on. But I kind of imagine that it's going to be a thing where it's making such a big deal out of we're finally going and exploring now.
Yeah.
After three Star Trek movies, that we go to a planet and just wrecking the ship and going down to a planet is like this really big, cool idea, as if it's a thing that's never been done before or something, because we're finally actually going out and doing it. It feels like it really looks like a cookie-cutter, formulaic, just the same thing over again kind of movie, and that's unfortunate. Because you've got another big villain, and it sounds like his whole thing is the Federation shouldn't be this far out where we are, and so I don't know. I expect another revenge plot, and I expect him to have already hated the Federation for some reason, and I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it'll just be they went someplace they weren't welcome, and we do a whole away team kind of movie. But did we have to make it so big that we blow up the ship to get there?
Yeah.
But then you always have this. To be fair, though, you always run into this problem of how do you tell a Star Trek story that's big enough to warrant being a movie instead of an episode of a television show? My answer at this point would be, well, we don't have TV right now, so maybe it would be okay to just tell a really good, thought-provoking, 2-hour movie. Now, I'm not expecting a thing that's not an action movie and not more about that than anything from this. I'm not expecting that. I'm not that naive, and I will accept a really good action movie that's maybe got a couple of cool ideas in it. But I don't know. What do you think, Vince?
I think that the trailer looks like it could be a solid action piece. I think it could be fun. I think it could be entertaining. The thing that makes me get annoyed with it a little bit is the choice of song. Now, you and I had a chat as to why they chose that song to be over the entirety of the trailer. But, I mean, you're trying to set an idea here. You're trying to give people an idea of what this movie is going to be like. And if you're going to choose something like the Beastie Boys, I mean, I suppose maybe there's an idea in the idea of sabotage, so you're trying to show that...
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. And I wouldn't have thought to put that together in any kind of thematic way, mostly because, A, I'm not even trusting this movie to be that smart, and B, because all I'm thinking about is that song was in the first movie, and how they sold the movie with the teaser trailer. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it was even the main trailer. Yeah, and then... And then, so the first two movies are relying really hard on Wrath of Khan iconography. Obviously, Darkness is all that, and then, but the first movie has a lot of it too. and then also the rest of it is just relying on stuff people remember from the TV show. So just all the iconic lines and images and stuff. This movie, from the way they're selling it, with a couple of major things in the trailer, it feels like now they're selling this on. Remember that cool movie we made in 2009? A lot of people really didn't like Star Trek Into Darkness. We're just gonna make that kind of again. I'm not expecting it to be the same movie, but two big things that kind of worry me. One of them is that, like I said, there's so much stuff in that's just that movie again. So like that song, and then at the very end, the like falling and then landing on the transport. We did that already.
That's a good point.
And that was in the third. That was in like the middle of the movie, or maybe it was even third act. I forget. But like, no, it was in the middle of the movie. But like, that was a really big. That was the climax to a big action set piece.
Yeah.
And like we did that again. He's like, let's not do that again. And I'm like, you've done this gag already. But also,
he's just saying that they got really good at it now. They're going to do it like 30 times in the movie.
But also with the Beastie Boys song, anybody else kind of worried about character progression for Kirk?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, like, isn't he supposed to be the stalwart leader now that like knows what he's doing? And I mean, like he's obviously still gonna have some of that brashness to him, I would expect, but he had to actually face down the no-win scenario and die and get brought back to life last movie. He should be a little more seasoned, unless the whole idea behind that was supposed to be, no, see, I still have never faced the no-win scenario because triple blood.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, like, they got that song again, which makes me worried that they're going to kind of regress him back to where he was before, and then he's on a motorcycle again, and I don't know.
I mean, I guess I understand where you're coming from, because when I see things that are like telltale signs of the or like major things from the character's former characterization, I think, well, they're just gonna do the same guy that you saw in the first one, because
I mean,
you
they
wanted
may
him to be
not,
that guy.
but I just don't know that I have any reason to expect any maturity, and
Fair enough.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it might be kind of fun. I mean, I do think you could still see. I don't see any leadership at all. In fact, there's a lot more separation in this trailer, so we don't necessarily know.
And we certainly don't know, like, which characters are going to be the major players this time. I like that they showed us Spock and McCoy together like that. It's going to make a lot of Trekkies think that we might get more of the triad this time.
Yeah.
And that would be great. There's almost no Uhura there, which is surprising. And
there's a stunning amount of Scotty.
Well, that's not surprising at all because he wrote the script.
Right.
So I mean, that's not surprising at all. I mean, I would expect him to get a whole thing, but yeah, I don't know. It's just there's not, I think, much there that's going to really excite people. It feels obligatory. It feels like they had to rush one out, and this is what happened. I mean, they had to rush one out for the anniversary. And originally they had, and I'm not saying this would have been necessarily any better, and I haven't seen the movie yet, so what they have might be better than what this would have been. But before Leonard Nimoy passed away, they had a plan to do a thing with a older Spock and Kirk and bring Shatner back.
Huh.
And it wasn't going to be Prime Kirk; it was going to be an old version of this Kirk that somehow or rather was like from this timeline that they end up meeting for some reason, or some duplicate or something. I'm not sure what exactly it was going to be.
So when did they run into the DeLorean all this time traveling?
But I'm
traveling.
Yeah, well, time travel's all over started. But they but I would assume that they scrapped that when Nimoy passed.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason that didn't happen. But
they could just make a CGI Nimoy. It worked with Jeff Bridges, kinda.
Well, yeah, except they also had Jeff Bridges
and
his voice. But I don't know, Vince. It just, like I said, it feels kind of obligatory. I expect it to bomb. I don't think anybody will see it.
Yeah.
Especially because 2016 is such a big year for genre stuff. We've got like 7 superhero movies. We've got so much stuff happening that year. That I really feel like that'll be one of those movies that people will skip in favor of other things. I mean, Ghostbusters is negative. We just have so much. Yeah. We have an insane amount of stuff. I should put the list together, and we should do a whole show just going down it and talking about how insane 2016 is going to be. It's going to be a while, and I feel like Star Trek's just going to get caught in the shuffle.
It's a good thing I'm getting a raise. Go see all these movies.
Especially because one of the reasons that I think the first movie was so was so productive. So productive. I don't know what I'm talking about. I think one of the reasons that movie was so popular and did as well as it did in '09 was because it was kind of a dearth of sci-fi right then.
Yeah.
And we're not going to have that next year, and we don't have that problem right now in general. There's a reason that Paramount made a big deal out of trying to make this look more like Guardians. Everybody's making Guardians jokes looking at that trailer. I'm not even remotely surprised by that. And also, side note, that planet kind of just looks like the planet they landed on at the beginning of Darkness.
Huh.
Like it's just they're not even being very creative. I don't think. I don't know.
I see this trailer and it makes me think like.
Also, every alien race has to have tattoos. I just want to throw that in there.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, I'm sorry.
If I were alien, I'd tat myself.
They look like a Stargate species.
Kind of do. That's a good point.
I mean, it's not necessarily a big problem. I'm just saying it looks like something out of Stargate.
I look at the locales in this movie, and I think that it looks kind of like a blown up, a giant version of things you see in the set in the '60s movie or '60s TV show. I don't necessarily know what I'm talking about here because I've only seen so much of that show. But anytime they land on a planet that's a little kind of rusty brown or bright green, it just reminds me of that. Only blown up a little bit. I don't want to say on steroids because I hate that term, but
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And just because of like the weird kind of, I mean not neon, but the kind of weird color palette, with just the fauna and stuff.
Primary colors, yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean it's got that, but again,
I guess not primary. But again, you know what I mean.
They did that already. I mean, like we had that in the last one.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just this time we're actually going to be there for a while. So it'll be interesting to see what actually blows the ship up. And I think it's really interesting that a lot of the crew, if not all of it, is actually on that planet through a lot of that movie, or at least that's what it looks like. They show us the whole crew. So you got Kirk there. So it's not just like an away team because of course the ship blew up or whatever. So we've got this 500 man crew on a planet.
I think the people who make these Star Trek movies think that they need to kill a massive amount of people right at the beginning of each of these movies.
That's a really good point you're making.
They're like, that's how things get started, right? Everyone dies except for our main people.
Yeah.